This is Skarlet.
Share your true feelings, Skarlet.
You're an entitled, treasonous brat.
You sound much like Shao Kahn.
Skarlet, by all means, should be one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters. She's super cool, at least in theory, and fits very well into Mortal Kombat with the whole blood thing being in an M-rated game. Story-wise, Skarlet's kind of just another one of Shao Kahn's jobbers, obsessed with both him and blood magic. Fortunately, she barely gets any time to shine in story mode, and of course, because she's one of the bad guys, you don't really get to play as her. Honestly, I wish I had more to say about her. She's just kind of there. I guess this is better than her MK9 self when she was DLC and just like on a stage and literally didn't get anything. I think she had some like cutscene or something in a trailer, and I guess technically she had an ending, but still an upgrade, I suppose. But I would say overall her character design's alright. Like the costume, it's there. I don't think her default's very good, but her quote unquote past self, it exists. It's pretty solid in my opinion. It's definitely better than the default, and I definitely think it should have been her default, but that wouldn't really gel with the rest of the characters having defaults as like their like present character look. These are just more costumes that exist in the game. She's got a bunch of different colors for whatever reason. Like, you can pick like yellow or green or blue or purple or whatever color, you name it, for whatever costume. Which is very odd to me because, you know, the whole blood aesthetic means red. So I don't know why they didn't just... I mean, I don't even know what they could have done with palettes, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Frankly, she didn't need all those palettes. Here's her MK2 costume. Pretty cool. It's classic. And then MK3, big fan of this one as well. But it's just like the classic ninja thing. I just wanted to show it since it was DLC. Here is, I think this one's supposed to be like Black Widow-esque. It's interesting. I don't have it equipped on any variations, so take that as you will, but I still think it's a pretty cool skin. I definitely would have it equipped if I didn't have all this other crazy stuff. But alrighty, on to her special moves. She's a zoning character, so she's got a bunch of different projectiles and full screen and half screen and all that fun stuff, kind of special moves. Her base projectile is just fast, it's just good. And when you meter burn it, you get health back, which is kind of sick. Here is her slower projectile. It's nice, it does a decent chunk of damage. I want to say 7% or 8% or something. And here's her blood tentacle, I think is a solid 8%, I want to say. You've got 4 different versions, close, mid, far, and very far, which is nice. But you gotta really know which one you're doing. That's her low projectile. By default, it's good enough, but EX, it just goes a lot faster, so that's not super important. Here's just a bunch of her zoning. She has some pretty solid zoning, to be honest. It's as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you're throwing out the right stuff, you can keep your opponent at bay, and it's solid. I remember using it a lot back when this game was a big thing online. And that is her first string, 1, 2, 4. It is solid, just as a punish. And this is back 1, 2. It is a nice crushing blow, and it does a ton of dot damage. It's just a solid whip punish. I want to say it's 19 frames though, but the disjointed hitbox on the back 1 makes a world of difference. Here's her back 2. It's kind of nutty. It's got a lot of range, and you can kind of mix it up with the back 2 and back 4, and you can get some solid schmicks from kind of a distance and keep yourself safe. This is one of her best strings. It's 2-1-2. It leads to a solid combo, but it is minus on block, of course. It's minus 13, which kind of is an issue, but as long as you cancel, like, as long as you hit confirm the 2-1 into the 2, you should be fine. That's back 3-4. It's a solid string. You get a combo off it in the corner. It's just a nice little schmicks. And that's 4-4. It's +6, but it has a lot of pushback on block, so it doesn't really make a difference. Unless maybe you're in the corner and hit something crazy. and that's forward 4-3. It's... Oh, 4-4 is also a really good combo under, I should mention. But forward 4-3 is just a solid -1 string. That's a good mid. And this is her armor breaker slash kind of a combo tool. Back forward 3, you don't really get much off of it outside of the corner or off of armor breaker, but even what you do get off of armor breaker is kind of insanely difficult, which is odd to me. But and you can get some cool stuff in the corner for sure. Here's some examples. And here's some armor breaking stuff. With no meter, you don't get anything, but with meter, you get a little bit. You just get an extra like blood tentacle at the end there. It's alright. It's a thing that exists. But here's some real fun stuff in the corner with the armor breaker. I'm a big fan of these. I don't know if I've ever used them in my life, but they're definitely pretty cool. Here's some customizable slot special moves. This is her parry. It's pretty solid actually. You can hold it for a very long time. Obviously it still loses to lows and lows and jump-ins. But hit it 3 times and you get a solid crushing blow that does a ton of dot damage. I should also mention that on meter burn it heals you, which is kind of crazy. But the dot damage is insane. Like, that was 3 parries. Look how much health that took. If your opponent doesn't know what they're doing against that. But anyway, here's her teleport. It's actually like surprisingly fast, and you can spend 2 bars to get away from them, or spend 1 bar to go straight in front of them, which I don't know the point of. But here's how fast it is. This is just me kind of messing around, trying to see how fast I can input it. It's surprisingly fast. You get a little bit, like, if they're throwing a projectile or something, there's a solid chance you're gonna be able to punish it. But anyway, here's her. It looks like Quan Chi's trance. I'm gonna be real, could not remember, had to stop recording and remember what it was. It looks like Quan Chi's trance. The thing is though, you can't combo off it. It's just kind of a restand. I don't know why it misses there, by the way. I was just testing it a little bit and I just witnessed it missing for some reason. Once you do it, you cannot do another one for some reason. I don't know why you would ever want to, but you can do it, so that's a thing, I guess. You can end combos with it, just like the blood tentacle, which is nice. And it restands. You don't really get much off the restand. I want to say it's like +4 whether you meter burn it or not. So it's alright. It exists. It's there. But I wouldn't like incredibly. Let's say you get a bunch of stuff off it. If you time it right, you can probably get a throw or get a down 1. But you gotta schmix them with it. That was a solid down 2 combo. She gets a surprising amount of damage for a zoner with combos, especially off of like a down 2 crushing blow. And here's one that uses also her fatal blow at the end, which leads to an absurd amount of damage. I used forward 4-3 at the end there just to make sure the fatal blow hits. I think outside of the corner you have to do that. Maybe in the corner you could do 4-4. But she does get 2 crushing blows off of both of her throws, which is nice. So just like Noob Saibot, you get them to escape fail. You do it again, and bam, they're losing 30% of their life for some reason. And here's just a simple combo into fatal blow, it's a crushing blow, which does absurd damage, by the way. 45% is so unnecessary for that. I don't understand that for a second. It barely scales, if at all. But here's a completely different variation. This is Boiling Point. It's another back forward 4, just like the restand. So you can't have them on the same moveset. But it is a solid move. It does, I want to say 11%, or sorry, 12%. 12% for some reason. And on meter burn you get even more, which is kind of nuts. And just like the restand I was talking about earlier, Cell Siphon, you can end the big combo with it, which actually nets you a bunch of damage, especially if you spend the bar, which is really good, really solid. And you can also just do forward 4-3 into it. Hit confirm, bam, you get, what was that, 22, something like that, %. Here's, I forget what this move's called, but it's down back forward. It replaces the blood tentacle, which is terrible, by the way. You never want to do that. And it's kind of dot damage. It reminds me of Scarecrow's character power from Injustice 2, but it's worse because you don't actually get to build up a bar or anything. It just does dot damage, and it's not great. This is her, or sorry, that was her Red Rain buff. Outside of the corner, it's kind of bad, but if you somehow manage to end a combo with it or something in the corner, you can actually get some pretty solid damage. That's meterless. I don't know how in any world you're gonna be able to hit a 2-1-2 in the corner like that, but if you somehow manage to, and then you can restand them with the down back four that's brand new to this variation, and then hit them with that, that's like 70% of their life if you go for the low, which is pretty cool. You can go for a throw or something too. This is one of my least favorite moves in the entire game, simply because the design of it is stupid as shit. I'm sorry, I don't like to curse in these ones, but I can't not for this. So you could end the combo with it, but notice that it does 1% to you and a mere 0.5% to the opponent per tick. So it's the easiest thing to punish, A, and it's just bad. It just does a bunch of damage to you as well. Anyway, here's our fatalities. Honestly, I don't really think they show off too much personality, but I guess that's not really the point of them, you know? Like, the only thing I could confidently say I get from these, if you were just to show me these and I didn't know anything about the character, I think I would just say she's like a brutal killer, but that kind of goes for the entire cast, so like, I can't confidently say anything at all, practically, because it's just generally, oh, Mortal Kombat characters, they're all gonna be brutal killers, so not much personality there. I just feel like what could have been one of the coolest characters in the game is wasted with almost no personality you can eke from her special moves or from her moveset in general. But anyway, I'm not the best, I'm the Ultimate. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.